Good evening, everyone. I want to cover an A-plus setup I found on SPY's 1-minute chart. Didn't trade today. The 5-minute chart that I like to trade on was just too choppy. However, upon reviewing the market data, I found this setup and it's worth going over. So let's get right into it. We had a bearish candlestick pattern form right at the 10 o'clock time, which you typically wait and you have your 10 a.m. news catalyst, and the market will choose directions after that first 30-minute section. So here on this red candle, you can see that it was completely engulfed by the open and close of that green bodied candle. And so that typically reverses to the downside. Here's an example. If you go on Google, you can see here an example, and that breaks out to the downside. And then if it was found the other way around, a big red candle that completely consumes a green candle, that's typically a reversal sign. And we also have that later in this setup, and we'll review that. So a bearish Harami candlestick pattern to go along with 10 a.m. news reversal. So you would have entered puts there at the close of that candle, and you could have wrote it down to the, at that point in time, low of day. Then you could have used that low of day break setup to potentially capitalize more profits. And so you could have stayed in your position looking to see if you'll break that previous structure here and continue down to make a lower low, which we did. And then you would have wanted to look for a reason to get out and see if price reverses back to the upside. And here we have a bullish Harami candlestick pattern that was also in the form of a bullish hammer. So I'll zoom in on that here. And that's where you would have wanted to get out and take your profits on your puts. You can see here that the body of that candle was completely engulfed by that long red candle. And then it was also in the form of a hammer with this large lower wick and little to no upper wick. And I have an example of that off Google as well. Put that here next to it. So you can see downtrend, a hammer forms. You typically have a reversal to the upside, which we did here. And then I'll pull up that chart again one more time for the Haramis. Here you go. And you can see long-bodied red candle completely engulfs the green body of the next candle, and that reverses to the upside, which we again had here. One more confluence to go along with that for your exit was that at that point in time, we were oversold on the RSI. So a good indication that price is probably, that stock is going to be bought up at that price level. And then lastly, you want to cover two confluences from the indicators that you would have had to go along with your entry point on the bearish Harami in the 10 a.m. news was the bearish MACD cross that set up and took place here. And you can see buying momentum started to leave the market, selling momentum stepped in. So those two things happening at the same time as that low a day break gave you confluence to stay in that trade. Hope all that was helpful. Look for these candlestick patterns, look for these strategies, and use these indicators to make some money in the market.